Ghana, officially called the Republic of Ghana, is a sovereign unitary presidential constitutional democracy, located along the Gulf of Guinea and Atlantic Ocean, in the subregion of West Africa, spanning a landmass of 238,535 square kilometers. Ghana is bordered by the Ivory Coast in the west, Burkina Faso in the north, Togo in the east and the Gulf of Guinea and Atlantic Ocean in the south. The word Ghana means warrior king in Mande. The territory of present-day Ghana has been inhabited for millennia, with the first permanent state dating back to the 11th century. Numerous kingdoms and empires emerged over the centuries, of which the most powerful was the Kingdom of Ashanti. Beginning in the 15th century, numerous European powers contested the area for trading rights, with the British ultimately establishing control of the coast by the late 19th century. Following over a century of native resistance, Ghana's current borders were established by the 1900s as the British Gold Coast. In 1957, it became the first sub-Saharan African nation to declare independence from European colonization. A multicultural nation, Ghana has a population of approximately 27 million, spanning a variety of ethnic, linguistic and religious groups. Its diverse geography and ecology ranges from coastal savannas to tropical jungles. Ghana's economy is the 9th largest on the Africa continent by purchasing power parity and nominal GDP. Ghana is one of the countries on the continent that produces petroleum and natural gas, with the continent's 5th largest oil reserves and 6th largest natural gas reserves. It is one of the world's largest gold and diamond producers, and is projected to be the largest producer of cocoa in the world as of 2015. Ghana's growing economic prosperity and democratic political system has made it a regional power in West Africa. It is a member of the Non-Aligned Movement, the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States and the Group of 24. Etymology. The etymology of the word Ghana means warrior king, and was the title accorded to the kings of the medieval Ghana Empire in West Africa. Although this empire was further north than the modern-day country of Ghana in Guinea region. The name Ghana was a possible source of the name Guinea, used to refer to the West African coast off Ghana. Ghana was adopted as the legal name for the area comprising 4 separate parts, which immediately before independence enjoyed distinct constitutional positions: the Colony of the Gold Coast, the Colony of Ashanti, the Protectorate of the Northern Territories, and the Trust Territory of Togoland. The minister responsible for shepherding through the independence legislation, Charles Arden Clark Lord Listowel, explained that the name was chosen in accordance with local wishes. History. Prehistory archaeological evidence suggests that humans have lived in present-day Ghana since the Bronze Age. Medieval kingdoms. Ghana was inhabited in the Middle Ages and the Age of Discovery by a number of ancient, predominantly Akan kingdoms in the southern and central territories. This included the Ashanti Empire, the Akwamu, the Bonoman, the Denki-Irira, and the Mankesum Kingdom. Until the 11th century, the majority of modern Ghana's territorial area was largely unoccupied and uninhabited by humans. By the early 11th century, the Akans were firmly established in the Akan state called Bonoman, for which the Brong Ahafo region is named. From the 13th century, Akans emerged from what is believed to have been the Bonoman area, to create several Akan states of Ghana, mainly based on gold trading. These states included Bonoman, Ashanti, Denki-Irira, Mankesum Kingdom, and Akwamu Eastern Region. By the 19th century, the territory of the southern part of Ghana was included in the Kingdom of Ashanti, one of the most influential states in sub-Saharan Africa prior to the onset of colonialism. The Kingdom of Ashanti government operated first as a loose network, and eventually as a centralized kingdom with an advanced, highly specialized bureaucracy centered in the capital city of Kumasi. Prior to Akan contact with Europeans, The Akan Ashanti people created an advanced economy based on principally gold and gold bar commodities then traded with the states of Africa. The earliest known kingdoms to emerge in modern Ghana were the Moldagbani states. The Moldagombas came on horsebacks from present-day Burkina Faso under a single leader, Naagbewa. With their advanced weapons and the presence of a central authority, they easily invaded and occupied the lands of the local people ruled by the Tendamba, established themselves as rulers over them and made Gambaga their capital. The death of Naagbewa caused civil war among his children, some of whom broke off and founded separate states including Dagbon, Mampragu, Mossi, Nanimba and Wala. European contact. Akan trade with European states began after contact with Portuguese in the 15th century. Early European contact by the Portuguese people, who came to the Gold Coast region in the 15th century to trade, then established the Portuguese Gold Coast, focused on the extensive availability of gold. The Portuguese first landed at a south coastal city, and named the place Elmina as the Portuguese Gold Coast's capital city. In 1481, King John II of Portugal commissioned Diogo dos Yambaja to build Elmina Castle, which was completed in 3 years. By 1598, the Dutch people had joined the Portuguese people in gold trading, establishing the Dutch Gold Coast and building forts at Comada and Cormansai. In 1617, the Dutch captured the Olnuni Castle from the Portuguese, and Axum in 1642. Other European traders had joined in gold trading by the mid-17th century, most notably the Swedish people, establishing the Swedish Gold Coast, and Denmark-Norway, establishing the Danish Gold Coast. Portuguese merchants, impressed with the gold resources in the area, named it Costa do Ouro or Gold Coast. More than 30 forts and castles were built by the Portuguese, Swedish, Dano-Norwegians, Dutch and German merchants, the latter German people establishing the German Gold Coast. In 1874, Great Britain established control over some parts of the country, assigning these areas the status of British Gold Coast. Many military engagements occurred between the British colonial powers and the various Akan nation-states, and the Akan Kingdom of Ashanti defeated the British a few times in a warfare against the United Kingdom that lasted for 100 years, but eventually lost with the War of the Golden Stool in the early 1900s. In 1947, the newly formed United Gold Coast Convention by the Big Six called for self-government within the shortest possible time following the Gold Coast legislative election. 1946. Dr. H.C. Kwame Nkrumah is the first Prime Minister of Ghana and President of Ghana, and formed the Convention People's Party with the motto, self-government. Now, the first Prime Minister of Ghana and President of Ghana, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, won a majority in the Gold Coast legislative election. 1951 for the Gold Coast Legislative Assembly. In 1952, Nkrumah was appointed leader of the Gold Coast's government business. The Gold Coast region declared independence from the United Kingdom on 6 March 1957 and established the nation of Ghana. Independence on 6 March 1957 at 12 a.m. Kwame Nkrumah declared Ghana's establishment and autonomy as the first Prime Minister of Ghana, and on 1 July 1960, following the Ghanaian constitutional referendum, 1960 and Ghanaian presidential election, 1960, Nkrumah declared Ghana as a republic as the first president of Ghana. The flag of Ghana, consisting of the colors red, gold, green, and a black star, became the new flag in 1957 when Gold Coast gained its name Ghana. Designed by Theodosia Salome Oko, the red represents the blood that was shed towards independence. The gold represents the industrial minerals wealth of Ghana, the green symbolizes the rich grasslands of Ghana, and the black star is the symbol of the Ghanaian people and African emancipation. Kwame Nkrumah, first Prime Minister of Ghana, and then President of Ghana, was the first African head of state to promote Pan-Africanism, an idea he came into contact with during his studies at Lincoln University, Pennsylvania in the United States. At the time when Marcus Garvey was becoming famous for his Back to Africa movement, Nkrumah merged the teachings of Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Jr., and the naturalized Ghanaian scholar W.E.B. Du Bois into the formation of 1960s Ghana. Osagyefo Drive. Kwame Nkrumah, as he became known, played an instrumental part in the founding of the Non-Aligned Movement, and in establishing the Kwame Nkrumah Ideological Institute to teach his ideologies of communism and socialism. His life achievements were recognized by Ghanaians during his centenary birthday celebration, and the day was instituted as a public holiday in Ghana. Operation Cold Chop and aftermath. Osagyefo Drive. Kwame Nkrumah and his government was subsequently overthrown by a GAF military operation codenamed Operation Cold Chop coup while Nkrumah was abroad with Joan Larry in the People's Republic of China for a fruitless mission to Hanoi in Vietnam to help end the Vietnam War on 24 February 1966. By GAF led by Col. Emmanuel K. Kotoka. National Liberation Council formed and chaired by Lt. General Joseph A. Ankara. A series of alternating military and civilian governments from 1966 to 1981 ended with the ascension to power of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings of the Provisional National Defense Council in 1981. These changes resulted in the suspension of the Constitution of Ghana in 1981, and the banning of political parties in Ghana. The economy suffered a severe decline soon after. Kwame Darko negotiated a structural adjustment plan changing many old economic policies, and economic growth soon recovered from the mid-2000s. A new constitution of Ghana restoring multi-party system politics was promulgated in Ghanaian presidential election. 1992, Rawlings was elected as president of Ghana then, and again in Ghanaian general election, 1996. 21st century winning the 2000 Ghanaian elections. John Agyekum Kufuor of the New Patriotic Party was sworn into office as President of Ghana on 7 January 2001, and attained the presidency again in the 2004 Ghanaian elections, thus also serving two-term of office term limit as President of Ghana and thus marking the first time under the Fourth Republic of Ghana that power had been transferred from one legitimately elected head of state and head of government to another. Kufuor was succeeded to the presidency of the Republic of Ghana by John Atta Mills of the National Democratic Congress following the Ghanaian presidential election 2008, and John Atta Mills was inaugurated as the third president of the Fourth Republic of Ghana and 11th president of Ghana on 7 January 2009. Prior to John Atta Mills being succeeded as President of Ghana by then Vice President of Ghana John Dramani Mahama on 24 July 2012. Following the Ghanaian presidential election 2012, John Dramani Mahama became Supreme Commander-in-Chief, and he was inaugurated as the fourth President of the Fourth Republic of Ghana and 12th President of Ghana on 7 January 2013 to serve a one-term of office of 4-year term length as Supreme Commander-in-Chief and President of Ghana until 7 January 2017, and securing Ghana's status as a stable democracy. Historical timeline. Geography. Ghana is located on the Gulf of Guinea, only a few degrees north of the equator, therefore giving it a warm climate. Ghana spans an area of 238,535 square kilometers, and has an Atlantic coastline that stretches 560 kilometers on the Gulf of Guinea and Atlantic Ocean to its south. It lies between latitudes 4 degrees and 12 degrees north, and longitudes 4 degrees west and 2 degrees east, and the prime meridian passes through Ghana, specifically through the industrial port town of Tema. Ghana is geographically closer to the center of the Earth than any other country in the world, even though the notional center is located in the Atlantic Ocean, approximately 614 kilometers off the southeast coast of Ghana on the Gulf of Guinea. Grasslands mixed with south coastal shrublands and forests dominate Ghana, with forest extending northward from the southwest coast of Ghana on the Gulf of Guinea and the Atlantic Ocean 320 kilometers and eastward for a maximum of about 270 kilometers, with the Kingdom of Ashanti or the southern part of Ghana being a primary location for mining of industrial minerals and timber. Ghana encompasses plains, waterfalls, low hills, rivers, Lake Volta, the world's largest artificial lake, Dodi Island and Barbowazi Island on the South Atlantic Ocean coast of Ghana. The northernmost part of Ghana is Pulmakong and the southernmost part of Ghana is Cape 3 Points. Climate: the climate of Ghana is tropical and there are two main seasons, the wet season and the dry season. Rivers: Ghana has a vast river system with an array of tributaries. Wildlife: Ghana has an array of wildlife that can be seen at zoos and national parks in the country. Although populations have been drastically reduced by habitat loss and poaching,